our speaker, first speaker from Section B, from St. Gerard Magella, to come up and deliver her speech, and let's make her welcome, Rachel Chan.
I hear the chairperson announcing my name, the audience applauding, and I take a deep breath and walk onto the stage. It's my chance to be in the spotlight, to show everyone just how much I love playing music and to truly express who I am. Good evening, chairperson, ladies and gentlemen. What I love to do is play violin. A violin is a stringed musical instrument played with a horsehair bow. It has 4 strings and is the smallest and highest pitched string instrument. I started playing when I was 6 years old and have been playing for 7 years. My sister started a year before me, and I remember I loved hearing her play and wanted to start too. The next year, I had my own quarter-size violin and was thrilled. My teacher is Mrs. Baker, who is the music coordinator at St. Mary's and teaches students how to play string instruments. She teaches about 7 different schools each week and has been my teacher ever since I started. Her talent as a violinist makes her a great inspiration to look up to. I started competing at the Kansas Stedford in 2007, just 1 year after I commenced violin. I got my first trophy and was very proud of myself. I participated in the Griffith University Music Workshop in 2010 along with my sister and took up a scholarship to play viola. Last year, I went to a primary school workshop at St. Andrews and was also in the St. Mary's Primary School Ensemble, which performed at the Stedford. This year, though, I joined the St. Mary's Orchestra, pretending to be a St. Mary's student. I have just finished my grade 7 violin exam and look very forward to starting grade 8. I am also auditioning for a music scholarship for next year when I go to St. Mary's. Throughout the 7 years, I have learned that nothing comes out of luck. I practice at least an hour a day and have had to give up things like watching TV. I have realized that violin isn't as simple as I thought it would be, but with persistence, you can always improve. I may not become the greatest violinist or composer in the future, but my hope is that I will become an inspiration to others as my teacher has been to me, and that I will continue to enjoy and play music as much as I do now in my life.
Well, we welcome our 4th speaker from Peace Lutheran College in Section B, so Section B judges are all ready to hear from Carly Aylet.
William Shakespeare, in his play, As You Liked It, summed up the 7 stages of a man's life as follows. All the world is stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Good evening to the chairperson, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What is drama? The Macquarie Study Dictionary defines drama as any exciting, important, or fast-moving series of events, usually involving conflict or contrast of characters, and to be acted on stage, radio, or television. Drama for me can be defined by using just one word: fun, and it's also something that I love to do. Drama is a subject offered at my school as an elective. This year I took the subject for a term, and from the moment I walked into the drama classroom, I was hooked. From the 3 lessons a week, over a term, I was involved in games and activities which helped me develop my drama skills. And in the grand finale of this subject was to perform in a play. I love drama because it allows the performer to express and feel many emotions. Shakespeare in his play wrote about these emotions. For example, love. Good night, good night. Parting is a such sweet sorrow. Sadness, thou detestable more. Thou womb of death, God should the dearest morsel of the earth. Evil, fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and the filthy air. And tragedy, for never was a story of more woe than Juliet and her Romeo. Drama is a unique tool to explore and express human feeling. It is widely documented how beneficial drama can be for students. Benefits like building self-esteem, improved communication skills, and assisting in all areas of a child's development are all important life skills. Decision-making and problem-solving are also a part of the drama toolkit. Being involved in drama allows me to explore and express a reality through my imagination. I can work with other students, step out of my comfort zone, and do something that I love to do, perform. In the words of the Greek philosopher Aristotle, the soul never thinks without its picture. The world is a stage. We are merely players who do have our exits and our entrances. And in our time, we can do and make many parts. When I grew up, and if I could make acting my career choice, what a better way, waking up each and every morning knowing that you're doing something you love.
Next speaker from St Andrews, but in section B, which is Soraya Khan. Sorry, Soraya.
Crouch. Declan Crouch, a youth who was just shy of his 14th birthday, just over a year ago, prompted one of the largest police searches for a missing child in Queensland. He was later found to have committed suicide. Good evening, chairperson, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen. So as a Prime Minister for a day, I would like to readdress and re-increase the awareness of bullying and teen suicide. Anyone who has been found directly linked to a victim's suicide should be made accountable and tried at the court of law. No longer should these bullies get away. As a Prime Minister, I would like to say that victims of bullying are at greater risk of suicidal thoughts. Suicide is the third leading cause of death for 15 to 24-year-olds. This is a very complex issue, but it's real. The tragedy of a young person dying is overwhelming and devastating to both a family and community. After a child we know has committed suicide, the effect can be very sudden, so we tend to be left shocked and confused, left wondering, could we have done something to prevent this? Let's face it, bullying should not be tolerated. As a Prime Minister, I would like to address that victims of bullying are at greater risk of suicide. As a Prime Minister, I would like to address that some teens may choose to run away from home because they are afraid to face bullying or they struggle to deal with it. Remember, bullying is a behaviour that repeats, so this will take consistent effort to ensure that it stops. Show support that they are not alone and there is help available. Remember, you are not the problem, the bully is. Speak up, and remember, no one deserves to be bullied. You are just standing up for your rights to be respected for whom you are. Make your school and community a place where we have zero tolerance against bullying, so no teen feels the need to run away. As a Prime Minister, I would like to state that one of the side effects of bullying is depression, which can lead to a low self-esteem. This can have a long-lasting effect on people who are bullied as children and are more likely to suffer from depression as an adult. Bullies, let me ask you a question. What makes you so powerful? What makes you believe that you are above someone else? No, you are not powerful. You are just someone who constantly and repeatedly uses negative words or actions to make someone believe that they are helpless, leading them to distress and risking their well-being. To me, these are the actions of someone who is a coward. That's right, a coward. As the Prime Minister, I would like to readdress and re-increase the awareness of bullying and teen suicide. Together, we can prevent bullying and teen suicide, make all the teens before us count, and support me for the law to change and bullies brought to justice. Let's all stand together and stand up strong. Let's not ignore our children with concerns. Therefore, as the Prime Minister, let's treat everyone with respect and unique individuals who have something to offer the world. Life is a gift not to be wasted.
Okay. Our next speaker from Section B from Calanna is Calanna Mohammed.
In God we trust. This is a common message in our society. Good evening, Chairperson, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen. I could tell you I enjoy reading books, I love playing hockey, I get excited watching NRL football, I am passionate about playing on my iPod, and I get a kick out of tormenting my little brother. Now, you may find this odd, coming from a 12-year-old child, but what really means more to me is my faith in God and my religion, Islam. As a Muslim, a follower of Islam, I love to devote myself to all the practice of the religion and what it teaches me in my everyday life. For example, I'm required to pray 5 times a day. This makes me feel like a special servant to God. Prayer allows me to relax and switch off from the material world and have my God, Allah, record all my good deeds and forgive my bad ones. During the Islamic month of Ramadan, I have to abstain from eating and drinking during the daylight hours. I cherish this because it reminds me that there are many children in the world who are continually starving, and I'm able to appreciate their situation. But when I am permitted to eat, I'm only allowed certain foods called halal. These are genuinely natural products, and our meats are blessed at the time of slaughter. Wholesome and nutritious foods makes my body feel healthy and energetic. At the end of Ramadan is a celebration similar to Christmas called Eid. This is a time that I love because we can eat as much as we want and share gifts with our families and spend time with our friends. Another aspect of our religion is our book, the Holy Quran, written in the Arabic language. I have been fortunate enough to learn how to read Arabic and therefore value my precious time while reciting it. The Quran is interesting as it has many stories about the prophets, such as Adam, Noah, Moses, Jesus, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. Islam also teaches me to be kind, honest, and respectful, especially to my elders and parents. Being well behaved means receiving lots of love and attention from mum and dad. They reward me whenever I'm good, but of course I am punished when I have an attitude or caught torturing my little brother Jordan. Islam guides me to balance enjoyment in this world while always being mindful of the duties and obligations to God. I love my faith as it teaches me to be content with all the challenges in my daily life. Islam, like other religions of the world, delivers a message of peace and harmony to all humanity. Thank you.
Section B from Holy Cross, Lachlan Doyle.
Capital P-R-I-M-E, capital M-I-N-I-S-T-E-R, Prime Minister. The job of a Prime Minister is one of the most powerful in the world. And I'm just an average, lower letters Australian kid. Good evening, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow students. I, Lachlan Doyle, will be sharing my thoughts with you about what I would do if I was Prime Minister for a day. If I was privileged enough to be Prime Minister for even one day, the first thing I would do is stop carbon tax. Carbon tax will ruin most businesses, which will lead to having some families going without money. Then we'll have more people desperate to earn
just enough money to buy the basic essentials, and more becoming homeless and destitute. If I was Prime Minister for the day, I would increase funding to the homeless centres so those in need could enjoy what others mostly take for granted. You're probably wondering where I would get all of this money from. Well, we all know how much the government spends on cars and transport for their employees. I would cut government spending on official cars, business lunches and overseas trips. I would also get Campbell Newman on my side and let him loose with his money-saving exercises to raise money. If I was Prime Minister for the day, I would insist we all use more Australian-grown foods instead of the foods that are being imported. Imported goods are cheaper, but when we buy it from that country, we don't know what toxic chemicals it has been sprayed with, and it could be very poor in quality. But if we use Australian-grown foods, we can control the quality of the food and we'll be keeping jobs in Australia. Also, if I do this, I would be helping out the Australian farmers, not to mention our laws on safer use of chemicals. The final thing I would do if I was Prime Minister for a day is increase the price of cigarettes. I would raise the price to $20 for a packet of 10, and for a packet of 50, $100. I know I cannot completely eradicate cigarettes from Australia, but at least I could raise the price of them so that it would encourage more people to stop smoking. And if I do this, I would save people of dying of lung cancer, not to mention the medical costs associated with smoker's disease. I would work hard for the changes that would help Australia become a prosperous nation that cares for the well-being of its citizens. I know that none of my suggestions could be achieved in one day, but I hope that my ideas could at least be heard. Maybe this is just wishful thinking, as I have already said, just an average Australian kid.
And our next speaker, back to section B from Edge Hill, is Zachary Gain.
Good evening, Chairperson, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen. Many people have different passions in their lives. Some are passionate about sports. Some are passionate about books. Some are passionate about art, food, gardening, animals. Well, my passion is the cello. I remember telling my mother that I was going to play the cello. She said, "What is a cello?" I explained to her that a cello is an instrument that belongs to the string section in an orchestra. To make it easier for her, I said that there is the violin, a viola, which is a big violin, a cello, which is an even bigger violin, and a double bass, which is a massive violin. I think she got the idea. I started playing the cello 4 years ago at my school when I was 8 years old. I currently play in 2 orchestras, 1 ensemble, and I am very fortunate to have an amazing and dedicated tutor. Being involved with these groups and the people in them has improved my playing enormously and drives me to continue this wonderful experience. But what is it that I love about the cello? There are many reasons, really. One is because I meet so many awesome people that help me and motivate me through my journey as a cellist. Another is the fun and excitement I get from all the opportunities by playing my cello. But most of all, it is the joy my music can and has brought to people's lives. As an example, I urge you to take a look at YouTube and search for Pigin on Subway. Then look for Flash Mob. Briefly, it shows members of an orchestra in Copenhagen, Denmark, playing a piece for rush hour travellers on a train. To see the delight on the face of the travellers and the uplifting feeling among them is just so evident. This is the impact that music can have. Another example, I'm involved in the Can String Orchestra. As a part of our program, we play for the elderly at nursing homes around Cairns. These are usually before Christmas, and as you can imagine, this can be an emotional time of the year for some of these folk. To see the happy smiles, fingers tapping, some singing along, and even a few tears, gives me an emotional high when I think how, I can bring these feelings of joy to many. My grandfather, who I consider to be a wise man, once said we should all have one thing in our lives that we are good at, which gives us the confidence and motivation for all other areas in life. I believe I am luckier than most because I have found something I'm good at an early age, and I am passionate and determined to continue it for the rest of my life. With these words from him, I know I will continue my journey as a cellist. That is why I love playing the cello.
Welcome from Our Lady of Christian in Section B, Zoe DeMarco.
Buongiorno signori e ragazzi. Quello che mi piace fare è parlare in italiano. Did you all understand what I just said? Some of you may have, and I certainly did. Knowing a different language opens up a whole new world. And this is why I love speaking Italian. There are many reasons why I love speaking Italian, some of which I'm going to tell you about today. Firstly, I love speaking Italian because in Italian restaurants, I can pronounce all of the foods on the menu. For example, fettuccine. This is a type of flat pasta, one of my favourites, especially with formaggio, which is cheese. A food which my dad loves is gamberi, which are prawns. My favourite dessert is tiramisu, and when translated, it literally means pick me up or make me happy. And I can tell you, it makes me happy when I eat it. Another reason why I love speaking Italian is because my nonna, grandmother, and nonno, grandfather, were born in Italy. And because I love them, I love to speak Italian. It does make me feel more connected to my Italian heritage. In fact, I am going to northern Italy at the end of the year to visit my zias, which is auntie in Italian. It will be freddo, which means cold. For this reason, I have been practicing speaking Italian so that I can communicate with them. This brings me to another reason why I love speaking Italian. And that is because it opens up a whole new world when you can speak a different language. Not only that, speaking a different language makes you smarter. I agree with this because sometimes speaking Italian has helped me to understand more words in English. For example, a quad bike refers to a four-wheel bike, and in Italian, the number 4 is quattro, so we can hear the resemblance. Also, I play the violin and piano. Knowing Italian has helped me to recognize music terms like allegro, which is lively, forte, which is loud, and piano, which means play slow and softly. Now, you may have noticed that when I have pronounced some Italian words like formaggio, freddo, and allegro, I roll my R's, which I do enjoy. In fact, some real Italians cannot roll their R's, so I'm proud that I can. I have heard that Italian is the language of love. Apparently, it is very romantic to speak Italian, but I don't know much about that at the moment. In case you are all still wondering, at the start of my speech, I actually said, what I love to do is speak Italian. So today, I have told you a few reasons why I love speaking Italian. But essentially, I love it because it is part of who I am. Ciao e grazie.
Good evening, Chairperson, adjudicators, and audience. As the words spill onto the page, I try my hardest to catch up, but fingers can only move so fast, and the words race on ahead and out of my reach. But sometimes they are merciful, and when you catch them, and they allow you to use them, the things that you can create and discover are unlimited. Writing is my love, my passion.
The following is a snippet from the story I'm currently writing. The man and woman leaned down to kiss their children goodbye. At that moment, the carriage doors were pulled off with a violent shudder. A servant girl grabbed the children and fled the carriage. The dagger in her mouth flashed silver as it caught the shine of the moon's silvery gaze. The children were safe in her arms, but the parents were never seen again. One day you may be reading a novel and remember these sentences. Then you'll know that my dreams of becoming a published author have come true. This snippet is at the end of the prologue, and I'm attempting to weave an air of mystery around the characters and force the reader to turn the page and read on. Who pulled the carriage doors off? What happened to the children? Why did a servant girl have a dagger? Writing in the Oxford Dictionary is defined as the activity or skill of making coherent words and composing text. Doesn't sound that all difficult, huh? Then reality hits. A half-written sentence sits on my page, teasing me, taunting me. Word, what word next? Wandered, no, that's not right. Trudged, no. Crept. Now that captures the servant girl's exhaustion, her determination. Now, what's next? A word, a phrase, another sentence, and on I go. Sometimes just whole paragraphs flowing onto the page, while other times a thought refuses to become coherent, and the bin fills with my attempts that refuse to work. And I wonder, will I ever have the skills I need? There's always something you can learn and improve on. How can I make this character more realistic? Describe this setting more clearly? Quicken the pace to lead on to a new chapter. And there's always editing. Editing. Well, we wouldn't want Mummy to feel left out. Better leave that part to her. So, if you see Shane Kepi plastered on the front of a cover, you know it's going to be a great book. How can you make that stronger? You know it's going to be a nail-bitingly awesome book.
Is Calanna Smith.
Good evening, chairpersons, ladies and gentlemen. If you were to ask me what I love to do most, my answer would be being a kid. Being a kid is the best job in the world. Being a kid is adventurous and fun. I think being a kid is better than being an adult because you don't have the stress of everyday life on your mind. When I was 9 years old, I had a dream to become an entomologist or a singer. I had so many ideas of what I would do when I leave school. I was so busy thinking of what to do when I grew up that I forgot what it was like just to be a kid. It was time for me to quit looking forward and rushing to grow up and focus on enjoying being a kid while I can. So I began trying things that I loved to do. I tried dancing, it went well, and it was so much fun. I tried singing. I was told I had a lovely voice. I even joined a choir. Being a kid was great fun. The only thing that was missing was a friend to share the fun with. Finding friends turned out to be easy and fun. Most of the time, I got in good conversations with other students. Then a thought came to my mind. Instead of hanging out with girls, why not also making friends with boys? That's where the fun really began. Most of the boys were really good dancers, the type that did backflips and somersaults. However, they were finding schoolwork tough, so we struck up a deal. I would help them with their schoolwork, and they would teach me how to dance. The deal worked out great. The boys' grades improved, and so did my dancing. Being a kid was not only fun, but it had its rewards as well. On the day that boys were boys, I would hang out with girls and we would play a lot of sporting games, such as netball, basketball, and touch. My mum often tells me that being a kid is the best time of your life. Sometimes this is easy to forget, and schoolwork gets busy, chores get annoying, and growing pains hurt. But when you think about it, you're only a kid for 18 short years, and then you're adult for a really long time. Kids are lucky to have the love and support of adults to guide them through life. So for now, my dreams of becoming an entomologist or a singer have been put on hold while I continue to make the most of enjoying the best of the world, the thing I love to do most, being a kid.
Last speaker for section B from Freshwater Primary School, is Freddie Strickland.
Could you imagine being inside the mind of a 12-year-old boy and the infinite ways in which he could influence a town, a city, or even a country? I can, because I'm 12, and I'm going to tell you what I could do if I were Prime Minister for a day. Who thinks weekends just aren't long enough? Are you always rushing around, going to sport, trying to fit in homework so you can get it done by Monday? Or just not enough time to chill and relax? Well, how about a 3-day weekend? The way I see it, the benefits are huge. With a 3-day weekend, you have enough time to do all the essentials like homework and chores. But you also have enough time to be with your family and not having to look at the clock every second. So the way I see it, having a 3-day weekend would be wonderful for both children and adults. The way I see it, everyone would feel less stressed, and that could affect the way you learn at school and your general health. Let's talk about taxes. Whether you like it or not, we've all been landed with the carbon tax. Well, if I were Prime Minister, I would make a few changes. Out with the carbon tax and in with a new tax, the swear tax. I don't have to get into too much detail if you catch my drift, but every bad word you say is 50 cents. And have a think, how much money do you think you might raise? What would I do with the money, you ask? Well, I will put the money to some well-deserved charities. Lastly, it's time to get serious for something I'm deeply passionate about. These people come to our country looking for hope, looking for safety, and just looking for a better life. This is the life of a refugee. How bad must the situation be for a mother and a father to risk their own lives and the lives of their children by getting on a raft or a boat that is unsafe to make the treacherous crossing to Australia? These people are just looking for refuge and deserve our compassion. I understand that not everybody can stay in our country, but I believe there should be medical facilities for the sick and severely injured so they can be treated. And if I were Prime Minister, I would make this my priority. And to let you know, for this, I'm not writing for a medal. I'm writing this to make a stand. So ladies, gentlemen, and children, I know my first 2 points were quite amusing, but the message I'm trying to get across to you is that we need to and have to change the way we deal with refugees. So next time you look into a 12-year-old boy's mind, remember, we're not just a ball of energy. If given the chance, we could make a difference.
For section B, we have Rachel Chan, Carly Aylett, Saraya Khan, Kalissa Mohammed, Lachlan Doyle, Zachary Gain, Zoe DeMarco, Shane Kemp, Zoe, bravo. That was the only word I could think of in the end. I'm sorry, that was about it. Shane Kepi, Kiara Smith and Freddie Strickland. Big round of applause for our farmers. get you all lined up before we announce the winner. We're all ready to go. We've got the trophy here. This is for Section B. And the winner this year was the last speaker, Freddie Strickland from Calanna.